Hey guys, it's Kat. Welcome back to my channel.
Butterflies.
Oh, yes, of course.
I figured that today is the perfect occasion to do this video. I will be ranking every Taylor Swift album in honor of her Eras tour starting this past weekend. And might I just say, it looks incredible. So I'm super excited about it. Here's a quick disclaimer, this is just my opinion, how I feel today. My opinions might change, they might not, but this is just for fun. It's not meant to be taken too seriously, and you know, everyone has different opinions. That's what's so great about the world. But I do have 5 tiers that I want to explain real quick. I have Screaming, Crying, Throwing Up, which is the best tier in the green at the top, which means that this album is really, really good, and it's like vomit-inducing, figuratively, of course. And then I have I Like You, which means I like this album, obviously. Then there's good songs. This album isn't particularly my fave, but there are some songs that I really, really enjoy on an individual basis. Then there's Not For Me. Not for me doesn't mean that it's not a good album, it just means that it's not for me. And last but not least, there is Don't Know Her, which is for the albums that I haven't listened to enough and I can't really, I don't have a lot to base it on. My ranking criteria is based upon A, how often I listen to this album as a whole, B, how much I like this album as a whole, and C, how many of the songs I like on an individual basis. This is particularly meant to help me rank the albums that are not my favorites or that I don't listen to as often. And without further ado, let's just get into this ranking. We're just gonna go in order, and the first one is the Taylor Swift debut. I'm gonna put this in Don't Know Her. And I do that because I just haven't listened to it enough to really put it anywhere else. It's not that I don't like it, it's just not really for me. I'm not really a country type of gal, so yeah, it didn't really catch my attention, and I don't really have any standouts for this album either, like any particular songs that I like. So unfortunately, it has to go in Don't Know Her. So we're off to a really good start. Next is Evermore, and I will put Evermore in good songs. I really do enjoy the slow pace of this album. I like how it's very relaxing, and it is slightly less depressing than Folklore, which I enjoy. So I'm gonna put it in good songs because there are some standout songs that I really enjoy, which are Nobody No Crime, Long Story Short, Cowboy Like Me, and Tolerate It. I wouldn't say I listen to this a lot, just because I feel like I have to be in a certain mood to really want to listen to it, but when I do, I thoroughly enjoy it. Next we have Fearless, which might get me in some trouble, but I don't really know this album very well. I've only listened to it a few times, and I don't hate it. It's just not for me. It doesn't really do much for me. The country vibes, again, is not really my thing. I'm definitely a pop girl through and through. I didn't find that any of the songs really stood out to me other than Love Story and You Belong With Me, which are two very, very iconic songs. So honestly, Fearless should be higher, but I can't justify putting it higher. I'm sorry. Okay, let's move on. The next album is Folklore. I'm gonna put this in not my fave, and I will tell you why. It's not that the album is not good, like lyrically, this is probably one of her best albums, and I know that. I just really like music that makes me want to get up and dance and sing along, and Folklore is just not the album for that. And I'm not gonna lie, it kind of has a melancholic feel. It's like kind of sad, and it makes me kind of sad when I listen to it. I don't want to feel sad. I do that enough on my own. Like, I don't need help. I tend not to really listen to it that much, not because it's not good, not because I don't like it, just because the overall vibe is just not for me. It's not what I want to get out of my music, so I only listen to it if I'm in a bad mood, and especially Exile. That song is probably my #1 crying song. I can't put it anywhere else, I'm sorry. While this album is not my favorite, I do have some standout songs that I really enjoy. Exile, like I mentioned, I cry to this quite a lot. I also really enjoy August, Invisible String, and The Lakes. Next, I have Lover, which I'm gonna put in I Like You, because I have a newfound appreciation for this album. I'm not gonna lie to you, when I first heard Me and We Need to Calm Down as like the lead singles, some of the lead singles, I was a little put off because I don't I don't really like those songs that much, sorry. So I was a little hesitant to really listen to this album. I feel like I didn't give it a fair shot, but lately I have been listening to this album a lot more. I really do enjoy this album. It has a few skips, but most albums do. There are always going to be songs that you like less than everything else, so you know, the good outweighs the bad for sure, and I do have an urge to play this song more often than I used to, so that's a positive. My standouts for this particular album is Cruel Summer, The Man, Paper Rings, Afterglow, Miss Americana, and The Heartbreak Prince. Next is Midnight. I really enjoy this album. It's definitely one of those albums that I gravitate towards more. I like it. I think it has a lot of good songs on it, and I like the overall vibe. I like the midnight concept as well. It does have a few skips, but it's fine. I do play this frequently. As I said, I gravitate towards this album quite a lot. Some of my favorite songs on the album are You're on Your Own Kid, Karma, The Great War, Labyrinth, Would've, Could've, Should've, even though it's a little bit sad. I like the majority of this album. Next is Red. You can probably tell where this is going, but Red for sure has me screaming, crying, and throwing up. This album is so good. I cannot explain to you what this album means to me. I don't know what it is. Every single song is just so good, especially Taylor's version with the songs from the vault. It's just amazing and I love it. It's the only country album where I like the entire thing, if this is still categorized as country. I'm not sure, I think it might be mixed, but it's definitely the last country album. 22 was a cultural reset. Are you kidding? Like, are you joking? The age or the number 22 literally had no significance until this song came out. I mean, how could you not love this? It's incredible. I loved being 22 so much just for the sake of this song. Also, this album has like the ultimate fall vibes, and I reach for this album quite a lot, but especially during fall, you will not see me listening to anything else. During fall, this is my #1 album. It is still top 5 album throughout the rest of the year. Fall time is made for Red. Red is made for fall time. They just go hand in hand. So naturally, my favorite songs on this album are All Too Well. All Too Well was my favorite song before Taylor's version came out, or before the 10-minute version came out, but the 10-minute version only made it better, and it made my obsession stronger. 22 is obviously a standout. It literally changed everyone's life, and I Almost Do, that song is so cute. I love it. Stay, Stay, Stay is also really adorable. And lastly but not least, I really enjoy Treacherous. It is just such a beautiful song. Every song on that album is good. Like State of Grace, amazing. Okay, next is Speak Now. This is another album that I haven't listened to that much because I love my standout songs so much and listen to these songs on their own so often. I'm gonna actually go ahead and put it in good songs. Logically, it should actually go into Don't Know Her, but those individual songs are really pulling through. Like, these individual songs are so good that it bumps it up 2 notches, which is quite a lot, but I feel like it's justified. These songs are just so good. I listen to them on their own on a regular basis. I don't really have much to say about it, but Speak Now kind of gives me like a fantasy, enchanted vibe. no pun intended. You know, like a fairy vibe, a magical feel. There's just something about it that just feels very whimsical almost. My standouts for this album is obviously Enchanted. I love this song. It has me falling in love with someone I don't even know. Like, that is not normal. It's so good. I also really enjoy Haunted. I like Mean, and I like Better Than Revenge. The next album is 1989, which is gonna go straight to the top tier where it belongs. This album is so good. For sure the album that I have listened to in full the most, and there's a reason for that. I am a pop girly through and through. Like, I'm not sorry about that. I love pop music, what can I say? And this album is pop excellence. There's not a single bad song, like not a single skip on this album. So if I were to do like a ranking, it would be incredibly hard because there is no way. Like, every single song is good. I love it. And this is also her best era in my opinion. Like, you just had to be here. Like, the Polaroids, the music videos, everything was just great. Some standouts on this album are for sure New Romantics, Wonderland, Clean, I Know Places, Out of the Woods is good too, This Love is good too, Welcome to New York. They're all good, that's the problem. And the final album is Reputation, which is gonna go into screaming, crying, throwing up, because this album is so good. What just happened to the exposure? Hello? Okay, we're back to normal. I don't really know what happened, and hopefully the lighting wasn't weird for too long. I was saying, Reputation is a really, really good album. It's like a bad bitch vibe, and I am here for it. It's a I'm plotting revenge vibe, and I'm here for it. I am incredibly sorry that Taylor went through what she went through back in 2016. She did not deserve that, but we got this album. So, I guess terrible things can lead to great things, but I'm sure she could have done without the trauma. I don't think that was necessary. It was just a really, really bad situation. I loved her really owning it and, you know, kind of not feeding into the rumors, but like, you know, just owning it, being like, yeah, but this whole time she knew that she was in the clear. So honestly, karma always wins and the truth always comes out. My standouts on this album are Dress, Dancing with Our Hands Tied, Ready for It, and Don't Blame Me. I mean, every song is good on this album. There's not a single song that I don't like, but those are just the ones that I like the most. So to wrap up this video, I'm going to do a final placement rank 1 through 10 just to kind of sum up the tier rank that I just did. In 10th place, we obviously have Taylor Swift, the debut, just because I didn't really have anything positive to say about it. I mean, I didn't have anything negative to say about it either, but that's just that. I didn't really have much to say about it, so I can't really put it anywhere else. In 9th place, I'm gonna do Fearless. Again, because it's an album that I haven't listened to enough to really have an opinion of it, which is unfortunate, but none of the songs really stuck out to me except for the lead singles, which are both super iconic. And in 8th place, I put Folklore, just because, not that I don't like it, but just because it makes me really sad, and it's not an album that I really reach for because I don't want to be sad. But it is a good album, which is why I'm putting it here. Well, in 8th place is not really a good placement out of 10. In 7th place, I put Speak Now. It's kind of similar to Taylor Swift and Fearless in terms of how well I know this album and how often I listen to it, but because of the individual songs that are just so good, I have to put it here. It just makes sense. My 6th place is gonna go to Evermore because I really do enjoy this album if I'm in the mood for it. It's definitely slightly less depressing than Folklore, but out of the two, I know they're supposed to be like sister albums. Out of the two, I definitely prefer Evermore. My fourth and fifth place are gonna go to Midnights and Lover. These two albums kind of rank the same for me in terms of how much I like them. They both have songs that I really like, and they both have songs that I don't like as much. But I think overall Midnights has more songs that I listen to on a regular basis, and I do tend to listen to Midnights more often than I do Lover. For that reason, Midnights goes above Lover. The top three is really difficult for me because honestly they're all my number one, but it kind of depends on the day which one I prefer the most. Like I mentioned, I listen to Red a lot more during fall and the other two more all year. I guess Reputation is gonna go in third place. I don't really have a particular reason. I guess I just listen to the other ones this much more, and therefore I have to put them higher. So my second place goes to Red because I listen to it not mainly in fall, but especially during fall. I listen to 1989 all the time. I could literally listen to it every day, which is bad. I guess right now that is my 1, 2, 3. So that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully our opinions don't differ too much. If you did like it, I do have a playlist where I rank other albums, so maybe you'd enjoy those too. But if you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much, you're awesome, and I really appreciate it. And you should definitely subscribe and turn on my post notification bell because I do have another Taylor Swift video up my sleeve and you don't want to miss it. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.